guys, we're finally back in Toronto after an amazing trip in Paris thanks to Samsung Canada who graciously brought us there, and man, it was an absolutely magical time sitting live at the keynote venue. We actually got early access to spend some time with all the new products that just got released, including Z Fold6, Z Flip6, the Buds3 Pro, the Watch Ultra, and oh fuck, there's no watch there, and the long-awaited Galaxy Ring. So now that has been over a week, here's some of our thoughts so you know what to expect when your pre-orders come in or just when you need some help deciding what to buy. Starting with the elephant in the room, the Z Fold has always been the center of attention for these events. Both the Fold and Flip this year feel much more refined, and it's like folding phones from Samsung have completed their transition from a cool gimmicky idea into a polished competitive product for everyone. It's kind of like how AI tools went from being some sort of cool idea, maybe shown in some sci-fi movies, before suddenly being acknowledged as a key aspect of the future within the span of just a few years. Which is funny because it seems that Samsung has plateaued at the Fold series so much that the focus this year is much more on the AI features rather than any of the hardware upgrades, but more on that later. Of course, we get the usual performance bump in the CPU, GPU, and NPU for AI tasks, an insanely bright 2600 nit display, and a more durable screen with a less protruding crease. But the more noticeable changes come from the physical design itself. It's almost as if they followed the design language from their ultra premium S24 Ultra by making the corners sharper, the bezels thinner, and most importantly symmetrical, and makes the phone look overall more industrial and sleeker. What helped a lot with this look is that they're able to make this phone thinner, lighter, and slightly shorter and wider, so using the front screen actually feels like you're using any other premium Samsung phone. The colors this year on the Fold also look incredibly premium with pink, navy, and silver shadow. I've almost never seen a pink phone before, but it's a super light and pastel shade, which makes it suit a lot of people and definitely something to consider if you want to stand out even more on top of the fact that you have a folding phone. On the other hand, the navy color is simply luxurious. It's dark, matte, and classy, and it can pair well with any other tech accessories you may have at home. It's a much better dark tone alternative to black, and I'm sure that everyone will be happy with it. Of course, Samsung phones are not complete without the silver shadow gray color, which really matches a luxurious and premium look this year. The shade they went with almost makes the phone look industrial, yet somehow still reflects beautifully in the light. The same thing can be said for the Z Flip this year too, which just looks so beautiful. Everything from the polished edges and the frosted glass back to the colored rings on the camera lens and the seemingly unnoticeable crease on the inside makes the whole product just seem so polished and frankly makes all previous flip phones from either Samsung or other companies feel like engineering samples. In terms of color, we get some fun options too with yellow, blue, mint, and silver shadow. My personal favorite has to be the yellow since it stands out so well whichever angle you look at it, but it isn't so vibrant that it hits you in the face. The nice pastel-y tone is also on the camera ring now, which just makes the cameras pop on the back and just look that much better. On the other hand, the classic Samsung blue color honestly goes so well with anything. It's not flashy like the yellow, yet it's not boring like a black color, just the perfect in-between. The mint color is also similar to the blue, but for people who like green more, and plus, it's a unique phone color that you usually don't see anywhere else. Finally, we have the same luxurious silver shadow gray from the Z Fold that just looks super elegant and sleek. Colors aside though, this year, the Z Flip6 is also rated for IP48 instead of IPX8, which is definitely a step towards pushing this phone towards more people, especially for those of you guys who are still more skeptical about the durability of folding phones. The Flip actually gets some substantial spec upgrades too, with the phone finally getting the same 50 megapixel sensor as the rest of the lineup, but more tests are to come in terms of quality, so be sure to subscribe so you don't miss our reviews of those phones. More importantly though, the Z Flip finally gets a vapor chamber, which is so important, especially for a phone this small since it would have overheated so easily otherwise. A common complaint for these folding phones have also been the battery life though, which is why the bump to a 4000 mAh battery this year is so nice to see, but only time will tell if this translates to better battery life in day-to-day usage. But the main point of the whole event was the new AI features. I mean, they even called it the Galaxy AI event, and it definitely did not disappoint. It's honestly so great watching this three-way AI race between Samsung, Google, and Apple because at the end of the day, it's us consumers that get the reap of the benefits of more and more features that'll make our phones better and lives easier. This time, Samsung mainly focused on text and photo-based tools, and some of them are actually really well thought out and cool. They seem to have integrated some ChatGPT-like features where they could, and they really made them really useful, like transcribing and summarizing recordings, and smart composing for emails and messages that try to write in your style. But there are also some very exciting and actually quite impressive photo tools built in too. Like for example, if you draw in the Notes app, you can actually generate an image from that, and it actually keeps the style and strokes of the initial sketch that just make the whole thing that that much cooler. Honestly, this would be super useful to create your own wallpapers instead of spending hours on Google trying to find the perfect one. And on top of that, you can actually now draw things into images, which is actually really fun to play around with, especially to trick your friends sometimes. Or better yet, you can actually even turn portraits into cartoon characters, which look like a less creepy version of Apple's image playground with portraits. But they also heavily emphasize convenience features with circular search and interpreter. The interpreter actually fits really well here because they actually advertise it with the Z Flip, so you can actually have a conversation in 2 languages with the translation being shown on both the main screen and then on the back, which is the cover screen. And the translations are actually getting better and better too, and they also include a lot more languages too. And as an ingenious promotion, using the Galaxy Buds actually allows you to get real-time translation right in your ear as well. This will definitely need some testing to see how well it works, but the concept itself is already really cool. This brings us to the Galaxy Buds 3 and Buds 3 Pro. They barely touched on the Buds 3 in the event, but the Buds 3 Pro seems to be getting a lot of upgrades this year, especially in terms of hardware, sound quality, and obviously the noise cancellation features. They also worked really hard to make sure these ear tips can fit the majority of people, and even claim that they use AI to analyze the fit, which actually make these super duper comfortable to wear. Funny enough, these ear tips are actually what caused the suspension of sales for the Galaxy Buds 3 Pro, since they kept breaking when people tried to replace them, but Samsung is already working on a fix, so hopefully they can roll that out soon. But anyways, in the short amount of time I had to play around with these earbuds, I can say that the transparency and noise cancellation are actually very impressive, especially the transparency mode, which has improved so much compared to the previous generation. It basically sounds like you're not wearing earbuds at all, but I'll save the verdict for a later video when we have more time to play around with these. The same can be said about the sound quality, which sounds pretty good so far, and if the Buds 2 Pro are anything to go off of, then these should be top notch as well. There's also a new adaptive ANC mode, which kind of gives you the best of both worlds between noise cancellation and transparency, since it blocks out most background ambient noises but keeps important things like conversations or signs audible. So far it's actually worked pretty well, and it's actually really interesting to play around with, so if I continue to like it, just maybe I'll leave it on as the default mode. The Buds also come with a bunch of customization features with the app and have updated touch controls along the flat side of the stem, just like the AirPods, which I actually really like. Speaking of AirPods, Samsung also has their own Watch Ultra now, which is their biggest, fastest, most durable, and longest lasting watch with a brand new super fast processor, titanium cushioned frames, and up to 100 hours of battery life in power saving mode. But the best part about this watch is all its new features that are now built in, like the ECG, blood pressure, FDA approved sleep apnea detection, and an ages index that's supposed to predict your long-term health through your metabolism. Even though these features won't be as accurate as any professional medical exam, they're definitely a nice to have for those of you who are at risk and can benefit from being able to check on your health from a regular basis. Bikers can also benefit from this convenience, since the Watch Ultra has a new feature that lets them calculate their FTP in just 4 minutes rather than a traditional hour. But for bikers and commuters, the Watch Ultra will make navigating the busy cities a much better experience, since they now have dual frequency GPS, which should help a lot when surrounded by tall buildings, since phones and watches usually have a hard time getting an accurate location there with all the buildings bouncing around the GPS signals. What's more exciting though is the long time rumored Galaxy Ring, which unfortunately isn't coming to Canada as of right now, but we still got to play around with it for a little bit. It features basically the same health features as the Galaxy Watch, but just in a ring. It actually wears really thin and almost feels like any regular ring on your finger. They also include a sizing case with plastic rings and don't require a subscription at all, which isn't something most other companies can say, so I like that a lot, Samsung. Unlike the watches though, the Ring features a week-long battery life and has actually a very nice transparent charging case that comes with it. The case even has a cool light up LED that shows the battery that's left in the case, and the case itself can also extend 1.5 times the battery life of the Ring, which could definitely come in handy in a pinch. But anyways, that's it for the video. If you guys have any questions about any device, be sure to let me know in the comments down below so I can try to get back to you as soon as possible. There's going to be so much content to make with all of these devices as well, which is going to be so much fun, so definitely stay tuned for that. And if you stayed all the way till the end, thank you so much for watching, and make sure to smash the like and subscribe button, and also check out the other cool content on our channel. Also, drop a sunglasses emoji down below so I know you guys are a real one. And on that note, have a good one, and I'll see you guys in the next one.